everybody, it's Kelly here from The Natural Balance. Today we are going to be going through a short 30-minute yoga sequence, a full body stretch to get you feeling good today. If you are doing this from home and you would like to use some props and you don't have yoga props, I've just got a block and a strap here, then please feel free to use a cushion, like a sofa cushion, some sort of cushion that you can put under your bum if you feel like you might need to. And if you don't have a strap, you can use something like a skipping rope or even a belt. But I'll try and keep props to the minimum, but let's just get cracking. So just come to a comfortable position, so whether that's a cross-legged seated position like this, or maybe you want to put a block under your bum if you've got a little bit tight in the hips or tight hamstrings, just to tilt the pelvis forward. And I always like to just have one leg in front of the other rather than crossed. And then bring the hands onto the knees here. And just go ahead and close the eyes. And take a big deep inhale through the nose. And exhale through the mouth. And we'll take a couple more of these big deep inhales through the nose and back out through the mouth. And as you breathe in here, I want you to breathe into the base of the belly. So we're going to try and really expand through the lungs here, but by expanding out through all aspects. So breathe into the very base of the belly to the bottom of the lungs. Move into the middle of the chest, up to the top of the chest, to your throat, and then completing that exhale, reversing that cycle back down. And as you breathe, just become aware of how you feel. So noticing any sensations that arise in the physical body. Can you notice any areas of tension, anywhere that feels uncomfortable? And just send your breath to that area. And continue to breathe. And before we begin our practice today, I just want you to check in with your mind. How does your mind feel? What thoughts or feelings or emotions are coming up for you today? And there's no right or wrong, just acknowledging, just accepting how you feel. And take a final deep inhale in through the nose. Open the mouth and sigh it out. Good. And just very gently opening the eyes here. Removing the block of the cushion from underneath your bum if you have one. And we're going to roll forward onto our hands and knees and come into our tabletop position here. So making sure the shoulders are over the wrists, hips are over the knees. And we're going to start with our cat-cow. So just arch the back and begin to lift the head up here. Then around the back, chin goes to chest, tuck the tailbone under, pushing into your cat pose here. And again, inhale, look up, arch the back, squeeze the shoulder blades back. And again, inhale, chin to chest. Good, let's take a couple more of these big inhales. Really squeeze the shoulder blades back, and as you exhale, round the back. And I'll start to make these a bit more dynamic, so we're going to inhale up, and then maybe as we exhale, we rotate around to the back, looking towards the ankles. And the other side. Move the spine up and down, we're just waking it up. And if you want to get a bit more dynamic, then just wiggle this to side, looking around to the feet here, up, down. Maybe you push back into a child's pose. Maybe you come forward. Just move around, do whatever feels nice for you today. And then we'll come back into center here. I want you to keep the hands planted onto the ground, squeeze your core in and just push the weight over the wrists. But don't let the body weight sink into the wrists. I want you to push up through the chest here. You're pushing into the hands and you're lifting up so that your weight is not dropping down into your shoulder blades. Squeeze the belly in, and we're going to hold it here for one more breath. And come back to center, good. Gently tucking the toes, Push back to your first downward dog. So if this is feeling quite tight for you, then feel free to bend the knees. Take one little bend at a time, walking the dog here. So fingers are spread wide. You're pushing the head through the arms, looking towards the ankles. Good. And then look forward to the hands. We're going to just walk the feet up behind the hands and ragdoll here. So let the arms hang, let the head hang, and maybe you take some swings side to side. Now if you have any pain in the lower back here, then feel free to just to bend the knees a little bit more and take any of that pressure off. And then we'll come back up into center, grab onto your elbows. From here we're going to begin to roll the body up. So push the feet into the ground, so activate through the four corners of the feet, so that you switch on the legs as you slowly roll up. The head should still be down, and then bring the head up and bring the hands up above the head. So we've got our hands still holding onto our elbows here. Take a big inhale, and then exhale to one side. Inhale back up. And exhale to the other side. Good. Inhale the body back up. Exhale the hands down. Good. So staying at the top of the mat, we're going to move through a sun salutation here. So inhale the arms up. Exhale forward fold. Inhale halfway lift. Exhale hands down, step back to your high plank. We're going to drop the knees, bend the elbows all the way down to the ground. Tuck the toes, push up into cobra. Looking towards the top of the mat, squeezing the shoulder blades in, and now downward dog. Good. 3 big breaths in our downward dog here. Inhaling 1, in through the nose, and exhaling it out. Inhale 2, and exhale it out. Inhale 3. Exhaling it out. Good. Inhale, look forward, step the feet behind the hands. Halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale the arms up. Exhale them down into prayer. Good. We're going to go through again. Inhale up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands down, step back to your high plank. Drop the knees, move lowering down to cobra. Inhale. Exhale, down dog. Again, 3 big breaths here. In through the nose and out through the mouth. We're just getting lots of oxygen into our lungs, energizing the body for the practice here. And final breath. And exhale. Good. Inhale, step forward behind the hands. Halfway lift and forward fold. Inhale the arms all the way up. And exhale down into center. Good. Inhale up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands down. Hop or step back to your high plank. You can drop the knees or move through the vinyasa here, high to low plank. And exhale, down dog. Good. Drop to your knees here, making sure that the shoulders are over the wrists. Inhale the left arm up to the sky, and I want you to keep looking at the hand. So you're trying to follow the hand, open up through the chest, and then bring it through underneath the right side as we thread the needle here. So let the left hand drop to the ground. Make sure that you've got the right hand planted firmly into the mat and that the right elbow is up into the sky, so it's not just hanging down here. Up into the sky, and then start to twist your head and your gaze and your neck, looking up towards the right shoulder or to the sky. So you should be feeling a big twist in the back here. Good. One more breath. And come back to center. Good. This time, inhale the right arm up. Keep opening up through the chest. If you've got any shoulder trouble here, or tight shoulders, you might find this is a little bit tricky. But we're opening up through the chest, through the shoulders, through the armpit, trying to create a bit more space here, a bit more flexibility. and then bring it through the left side so that the right shoulder comes to the ground. Left hand is firmly planted onto the mat, keeping it up to the sky, and then start to twist and look up to your left shoulder. Keep breathing. And remember, the more that you push into the mat with your left hand, the more of a twist you're going to feel in the spine. Good. Last breath. And come back to center. Good. From here, we're going to do another little stretch for the shoulders. So we're going to come into puppy pose. So you're going to bring the forehead or the chin to the ground, your choice. Now, if you've got any tightness and you feel this is a bit uncomfortable, you can just put a block under your forehead here to give it that little bit of extra space. So you keep the hips up into the sky, hands reach forward, come down into puppy here. So hands are reaching away. If you want to make it active, keep the elbows off the ground and walk onto the fingertips. So you're really extending through the spine and stretching out through the shoulder blades. And then we'll bring the hands over to the left side of the mat, put the right hand on top of the left hand, and then look under the left arm. So you should feel a twist in the right side of the body here. And then come back through center, left hand on top of the right hand, and looking under the right side. Good, and back into center here, nice. Tucking the toes, push back to your downward dog. Good. So we're just going to work a little bit on upper body strength here. So in your downward dog, we're going to drop the elbows into dolphin. Now don't worry if you find this a little bit challenging. We're going to stay here for a couple of breaths. So drop the elbows down so that you stay at the number 11 position and push into the upper body so that your head doesn't touch the ground. And we're going to hold it here for another 3 breaths. For 2 and 1. Push back to your down dog. If you need to take a child's pose and drop to the knees, then please do. Take a big inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Good. And then walk the feet up behind the hands, ragdoll here. Again, just let the body hang. Grabbing onto the back of the shins here, I want you to wrap your hands around the legs and just start to bring the head closer towards the knees. Now again, if you're tight in the back, please feel free to bend the knees. I've got my chest onto my thighs here, just for a little bit of extra support. And drop the head. So you should be feeling the stretch through the hamstrings. And if you need to, just keep the knees bent. And then if you want, start to straighten them just a little bit. See if you can get a bit more of a stretch coming out. Good. And then we'll release that. Slowly inhale the arms all the way up. Keep the head down until the very last moment. Big inhale and big exhale. Good. Step back with the right leg. I'm going to go nice and wide stance here. So make sure that the toes are pointing inward. You don't want to have the knees out because they're going to hurt the knees as we fold forward here. So keep the toes pointing inwards. Legs are nice and straight, but try not to lock the knees out. If you feel like you've locked your knees, just bring them just a little bit inwards. Good. Hands come to the hips, squeeze the elbows back and forward fold here. So crown of the head is reaching towards me. Squeeze the core in. You're going to hold it here. Now extend the arms out in front of you, reaching them by your ears. Hold it here for 1 more breath. Good. And then exhale. Drop the hands down towards the mat. And the crown of the head comes down to the mat. Now if you want to go wider and you feel like you could do with a bit more of a stretch through the inside of the leg as well, then please go wider, but keeping the toes in, and crown of the head comes towards the ground. Now if that's a little bit tight for you and you need to put a cushion or a block under your hands, please put something underneath there for support. And breathe. One more breath. Good. Now start to walk the hands over to the right leg. So wherever they touch the right leg, whether that's the knee, the thigh, maybe you're further down towards the ankles, take the left hand to the leg Open the right arm up to the sky. So you're taking a twist, looking up to the right shoulder, to the right hand. And again, bend the knees if you feel like they're locked out. And then walk the hands down through center, over to the left. Again, this time right hand comes to the leg, left hand opens up to the sky. Good, and bring it down through center here. Start to push yourself back up so you've got a flat spine. One hand at a time to the hips, engage through the core and lift up. Good. Start to heel toe the feet in together and then just hop up to the top of the mat there. Taking a step back with the right leg, we're going to go into a lunge. So come onto the balls of the back foot and then start to bend the left knee. So make sure that the left knee is in line with the ankle. If the knee is too far over, extend the leg, the width of the legs. Good, so bring the hands up. You're reaching the upper body up off the bottom half of the body. So keep the arms extended and straight and bend into that left knee more. Start to lift the kneecap up on the right leg. If you feel that the knee is bending, straighten it. We're trying to stretch down through the right hip flexor here, but also should be feeling a bit of strength work in the left thigh. If you want to take this a bit further into a back bend, then you can start to look up and lean back ever so slightly just to move into that backward stretch there. Good. And come back down to center. Nice. Bring the hands down either side of that foot. And we're just going to pulse back and forwards on the tiptoes here. Now if you find that this is too hard to reach, put your cushions, put your blocks or books or whatever it is that you're using at home underneath your hands so you can get a bit of a stretch here. Good, and then we're going to drop the back knee down and bring the hands on the inside of the left leg. So you can keep the knee onto the ground here. If you'd like to go for a bit more of a stretch, then you can take the tuck the toes, and stretch out back through that right leg again. Now turn the left leg to the side a little bit if you want to feel a bit more of a dynamic stretch. And feel free to wiggle around here. So you're working into the hips, the groin, you might feel this in the hamstring, and then just come back to static position here, and we're going to lower down into our lizard. So for some of you, you might not be moving past here, that's absolutely fine. Some of you might want to put a block, a cushion, a book under your arms, and you're coming down onto your forearms here. And if you want, you can go even further and just go straight down to the mat. But just relax. Breathe nice and slowly, so taking gentle inhales, gentle exhales. Good. And we'll bring it back up slowly. Remove the block or the cushion if you're using one. Hands are going to come back either side of the left foot, or tuck the toes of the back foot. See if you can shift the weight into the hands and lift the leg up to the sky, stretch it out. Bend the knee if you need to here. Just play around with it so you can feel the stretch out through the hip. And then drop it down. Take an inhale, lift the right leg up. Stretch it up to the sky, and as you exhale, it comes into the front of the mat, in between the hands, and then we'll rise up into our lunge on this side. So bending into the right knee this time, hands are up, so you're reaching the hands up by the ears, and you're straightening that back leg. So we're staying onto the balls of the back foot again. You're pushing into the right thigh, reaching the hands up. Good. So we're stretching through that hip flexor. If you want to take it into a back bend, remember you're lifting up, looking up towards the hands and arching that back slowly. So not crunching into the lower back, extend the spine and curve it rather than crunch. Good. And then hands come down either side of that right foot. And again, we're just pulsing back and forward, just making it nice and dynamic here. Around the foot. And then drop that back knee if you need to here. Now right hand comes on the inside of the right leg this time. Now again, you can stay here, you can play around with it, you move the hips side to side, maybe the right foot turns out to the right slightly, or just tuck the toes of the back foot, or choice if you want to make it a bit more of a deeper stretch. But whatever you want to do, you're going to play around with it, and then we're going to come into our lizard pose. So again, if you want to put something underneath your forearms, come onto the elbows here, just drop the head, breathe slowly. It's quite a big, deep stretch here into the groin and the hips. So just go gentle with yourself, don't force anything. We'll just take a couple more breaths here. Good. And then pushing the hands back up. Remove the block if you're using one. And then we're going to take the hands either side of the right foot, tuck the toes of the left foot, and take that leg up to the sky, give it a stretch out. Bend the knee, shake it off, and then drop the foot back down into your downward dog. Taking a big, deep inhale through the nose here, and exhale through the mouth. And next inhale, ripple over to your high plank. So in your high plank here, shoulders are over the wrists, squeeze your bum here. I want you to engage through the glutes, the hamstrings, push into the upper body. Nice. Now you can either drop the knees, or you're going to stay where you are and lower down to the ground from a press up. So your choice. Drop the knees now, we're going to lower down for 3, for 2, and 1 onto the ground here. Nice. So bring the hands by the armpits. I want you to squeeze the elbows in. Now look towards the top of your mat. The toes are down onto the ground. Squeeze the elbows in and lift up to a cobra here. So with your cobra, the head is down. You're not bringing the neck up. Look towards the mat. Squeeze the elbows in. Relax the legs and the bum using the upper body muscles here. And then lower down. Drop the forehead and just give your bum a little wiggle and your hips side to side. Good. Now bring the hands towards the top of corners of the mat. And again, push up. This time maybe your arms are straight. You're using the upper body to control yourself. So relax your bum. Don't tense the muscles of your bum so that you've got space for the bottom of your spine. Lift up, stretching out through the core here. And lower back down. And just wiggle the bum side to side. Good. Now this time, take the hands in front of you and the legs behind you. We're going to come up into our locust pose. So if anybody has any lower back pain, just be careful here that this doesn't hurt. This should feel like a strengthening exercise, not something that's twinging. So you keep the head facing down, because if you bring the head up, you're going to have a big crick in the neck. Head stays facing down. You're going to inhale, lift the arms and the legs off the mat at the same time. So looking towards the mat, breathe. Use slow breaths here, in through the nose, out through the mouth if you need to. Or if you're working with Ujjayi breath, just closing the mouth, breathing slowly. One more breath. And relax the body down, good. Again, same thing, just a little wiggle of the hips, side to side there. Now we're going to go into our bow pose. So this is quite a big stretch on the back here. So again, if you find that this is a little bit tough and you can't reach the feet, you can consider putting a strap around your feet like this if you need to. Putting it around your ankles and you're going to lift up. But I'll show you first without. So if you need to do that, then please feel free using a strap or a skipping rope. If not, grabbing onto the ankles. Again, look forward to the top of the mat. Don't have the head up, the head is down. Take an inhale and kick the feet into the hands to lift the chest off the mat. And we're going to hold it here for another 3. Kick it up a bit higher for 2. Push those legs back and 1. Drop down. Good. Wiggle the hips side to side. Take a nice big inhale and big exhale. Good, and we'll push back up into a child's pose here. So we're going to do child's pose with the knees together so that we have a rounded back. And then just drop the head down. And if you want to put a block under your head, you can. If not, just let the arms come down by the side and relax. Take a final big inhale and exhale, rising the body up. Good. Pardon me. So come to a cross-legged position here. Well, again, if you're feeling tight in the hips for this one, you might need a block or a cushion. So we're not going to come cross-legged, we're going to start with the legs up flat like this. Now take the left leg and place it under the right. Then place the right leg on top of the left. Now, depending on flexibility, you might find that your knee is up into the sky like that, which is absolutely fine. But what I don't want is if you feel like you're wobbling to one side, just put a cushion or a block under that opposite side to keep your spine nice and straight. So what we're aiming for is knees to be in alignment. But if you find, like I said, if that's too much for you, don't worry if the leg is a bit open to the side like that. It's fine. It's all working on the hips here. So sitting up nice and tall, so making sure that the sitting bones are on the floor. If you feel that you're a bit wonky, put a cushion underneath there. And then we're going to take the left hand up, bend it behind the head, and the right hand comes behind as well. Now you're reaching towards your fingertips. And if you feel like you need to grab onto the shirt, if you have a strap, then you can grab onto a strap behind you. That's as fine as well. And if you feel that if you feel that your head is being pushed down, then push the head up and open it push the elbow up and open it, Good, and we'll slowly release. And then bring both legs up. Take the right leg underneath the left leg this time and place the left leg over the right. Now again, same applies. If you feel like this is too tight and your legs up in the air, don't worry. If you feel like you're a bit more bendy and you want to bring the knees in line, then do. And then this time, bringing the right hand up, bend it behind the shoulder. Left hand comes behind the back and you're reaching towards the fingertips. Remember, you want to keep the spine nice and straight and nice and tall. So if the head's being pushed down, push the head back up to open up that right shoulder. Good, and we'll breathe. Slowly release the arms and then help your legs out of the position there, especially if they're a little bit tight. And then we're going to come onto our bum here. So shift the weight onto the sitting bones. Have the hands out by the legs. So we're going to hold it here in our tabletop legs, or if you want to extend it, straighten the legs here. And we're going to hold it for another 3, 2, 1. Drop the feet down to the ground. Nice. Just keep the feet planted. Use your core nice and slowly to roll down to the ground. Good. And then when you're lying down onto the ground, just bend the knees in just so you can just about feel your ankles. And we're going to come up into bridge pose here. So push the feet into the mat, lift the pelvis off, squeeze the bum here as you lift up. Now if you want to take any variations here, maybe you interlace the fingers behind your back and roll onto the shoulders. Lift the hips up nice and high. Now keep pushing into the feet. I want you to activate your glutes and your hamstrings here to take any pressure off the lower back. Keep lifting up. Good, and we'll lower down. Nice. Now we're going to go back up into that again. You've got a choice whether you go back up into your bridge or whether you want to go into a wheel. So if you're going back up into that again, this time perhaps maybe you lift one leg off and the other leg. Nice and slowly. Or if you're going into a wheel, if you had that in your practice, make sure you prepare yourself. Hands come behind the shoulders. Again, inhale before you go up. And then as you exhale, push the body up. Remember, toes are fainting to the front, hips are high, extend the arms, breathe. And then slowly lower down onto the back of your shoulders. Maybe get some knee clicks like me, and let's everybody give yourself a little hug. Just rock side to side, nice and slowly. And then maybe come into a happy baby here. So grab the outside edges of your feet, make a little rock side to side. Good. And then bring the knees back into the chest here. Now you're going to extend the arms out, so by the side of you. And then take the legs to the right side, so just drop them down to the right. And then look over to the left. So you should be feeling a stretch in the back here, nice twist. If you're not feeling a twist here, you can bend the knees up higher or cross the left leg over the right leg. And we'll bring it into the center, and drop them down to the left, and look over to the right. Good, and come back up into center one more time. Bury your head into your knees, giving yourself a hug. And then we're going to extend the body out into Shavasana here. So getting yourself comfy, extend the arms, extend the legs, bring the arms down by the side of you. Have the palms facing up. Just let the fingers naturally curl. Let the legs roll to the side. And then just start to breathe nice and slowly. Closing the eyes. And just allowing the body to sink down into the mat here. So with each inhale, the body is becoming more heavy, more still, more relaxed. And just softening your face. So relaxing the eyes, the cheeks, the jaw. And just focus on the breath coming in and out of the body. And then take a deep inhale through the nose. And sigh out, opening the mouth. And take another deep inhale in through the nose. And sigh it out through the mouth. And then just start to move the fingers and the toes. Maybe you move the head side to side. And perhaps taking a stretch out over the head, extending the arms, extending the legs, maybe take a yawn, and then hug the knees into your chest. And then gently roll to the right side. And then when you're ready, just push yourself up to seated here. And just come to a cross-legged position. Then keep the eyes closed. Just resting the hands onto the knees as you correct your posture. So just sitting up nice and tall. Imagine a golden thread pulling your head up towards the sky. So you've got a nice straight spine. Bring the hands together in front of the heart into our Namaskar prayer pose. And just bow your head down. And just take these last few minutes here, or moments, just to check in again with the body and the mind, or mental and physical body. Just acknowledging how you feel. There's no right or wrong, but just acknowledging. And then taking a big, deep inhale, lifting the head up. And exhale, opening the eyes. And namaste. Thank you very much for sharing the practice.